Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. In today's session of automated trading, we will be working with the Fractal along with the awesome oscillator, and this is the fourth part of the ongoing series for which we have been working for most part of this week, and we will try to see if we can finish it today. There is a technical description here. By now I hope you are well familiar with the functionality of all these indicators including fractal, the awesome oscillator, the min-max, the ATR, and also we are utilizing the historical candle data. Before we get started, this is a standard disclaimer. Here I would like to remind you that this session is simply for the tutorial purpose and no claim is being made regarding the profitability or otherwise of the algorithms which we will be developing during the session. Suppose if you want to use any of it, I would recommend that you do extensive trial runs for many months and maybe even years to get a clear-cut idea of the efficacy of the said algorithms, and also allow it to run on the demo account for good enough time. And nothing in the webinar is to be constructed as an advice to trade or for any particular setup. With that, we get started for the day. Today we will be focusing our attention on the sell side. In yesterday's session we finished off the buy side. There I later on realized that we need to do a minor modification. So we will add in one more condition, but apart from that we are done with the buy side. Now is the time to look for the sell side, and our sell side conditions are that we need the maxima and the minima to be lower, the current values to be lower than the values 29 hours back on the 30 hours time frame. So we look and compare these values, and then the awesome oscillator's value should be in the negative territory and it should be falling. As soon as it starts to rise, this negative value starts to rise, our algorithm will stop trading. It will be trading only when the awesome oscillator's values are falling, declining, and they are below zero. And then comes into play the fractal. We want the trading to happen only after the closure of third bar of this bullish fractal. So we will be trying to trade when the fractal formation is there and only after the closure of this third bar. So we are utilizing this fractal with three bars on each side. And yesterday we forgot to make sure that the third candle from the current candle, that is the candle with shift value 3, should be equal to the highest or the lowest value, and that way we will be able to make sure that we are only trading after the formation of the fractal. If we don't put in that condition, the every candle, as long as the value is still below the maximum, the trading will continue to happen provided rest of the conditions are fulfilled, and that is not our intent. We only want the trading to happen during the first 1 hour of last hour's candle close, and for that we need to bring in one additional condition. So let us go back to our Visual GForex platform where we have built this setup. Here there is a standard instrument subscription. For USD JPY, position amount has been defined at 0. Then we got these fractal indicators, the awesome oscillator, shift 1 and shift 2 for the comparative purpose. Then we got these min-max blocks of hourly time frame, shift 0 and shift 29. As I said, we will be comparing the values. So we got this, and the ATR on the daily time frame, we got historical candle data for last hour's candle close and its levels. Then we got these 1 minute historical candle to pinpoint the precise entry and exit point. Then we have done these calculations. We have defined the ATR range, and we have also kept the target price and the stop loss dynamic. We got in the buy entry and the sell entry price, and we did the order validity time, and we are keeping the order validity time at 2 hours. And then we did this if conditions, the positive value should be above 0 and it should be rising. The maxima and the minima should be higher than the prior values. Then last hour's candle close should be above minimum, and then we got this precise entry point. The one condition which needs to be put in is that we need to bring in the historical candle with shift 3, that is look back period 3, and the minimum of that candle should be equal to the fractal minimum. That means only when the fractal formation is complete, only after that hours close, the condition will be in place for a new trade to happen, and as soon as that hour has passed, no further trades will be placed till the formation of a new fractal. So for that we need to bring in the historical candle, get historical candle 1, and we do here we will need to add it somewhere to get it in the flow. Let us see if we have some space here. Okay, so we join it on the lower side. Good enough. Default period is going to be on 1 hour, so we make it 1 hourly. Upper side is bit side. Let me check the fractal side, and it is bid the closing price. Okay, we keep things similar, and now we need to connect this and as I said, we need to change it to shift 3. So now we got it. Now we need to take in one if condition, as we are doing the modification on the buy side, and that is the candle 46 minimum value should be equal to the fractal minimum. So we see auto created variable, and we got candle 46, and its low should be equal to the fractal minimum. That is minimum 15. So now we join this, on the buy side we add this condition, and here we rest of the conditions will remain as it is. So it should be candle close is greater than candle 24th close, so that remains as it is, and then comes the equality, candle 46 low should be equal to the fractal minimum, and here we have done this pending open, which has well defined values in most of its parameters. Now today is the time to start working on the sell side, and we start with the condition which we just added for the buy side. So let us take again candle 46 high price. As we are looking for the sell trade, we need to take in the high price, and this high price should be equal to should be equal to the Single 46 high price should be equal to the maximum 15, that is fractal maxima, and this is going to be our first condition. Now we bring in the other conditions for the cell side, that is the minima should be falling, the maxima should be falling. So here we compare all these requirements. The awesome oscillators values should also be in negative territory, and that means we have to look at these conditions here. 0, it should be less than 0. And here shift to negative 16 should be, that is the value 2 hours back, it should be less than 0. And then negative 10 should be less than negative 16. So here first input less than the second input, then we take negative 10, which needs to be less than negative 16. So we have defined the awesome oscillators conditions as well. Now we need to put in the min-max conditions, where the maxima should be lower, the minima should also be lower. And here also the negative value should be less than the negative value 2 hours back. Now we need to compare this min-max 17 to min-max 18. For maxima we will be taking the high price ask side, okay, and we will be comparing it to the ask price high price of the maxima 18. So we need to take the value maxima 17, that is the current hours maxima, and compare it to maxima 18, which should be falling. That means maxima 17 should be less than maxima 18. Again we bring in similar condition here. Pardon me. And now we need to compare the minimum condition. Minimum 19 should be less than the minimum 20. And here we have defined the min-max conditions and the awesome oscillators conditions, and the fractal condition as well. So we take all these and get them to where they belong. And we have to do few more conditions and then we will be almost done. So we take all these blocks and line them up where they belong. So here now one thing that which will need to be looked at is last 1 minute candle close and last hour's candle close. The last hour's candle close should be less than the fractal maximum, and then when 1 minute's value starts to fall below last hour's candle close, we will be in a position to go in for a fresh trade. So here and now and we will need the minimum 19 to be less than the minimum 20. So we take a block here and we join less than first input less than second input. Now we go back to look at the last hour's candle close, that is candle 24, and it should have closed lower than the fractal maximum. So we take candle 24, close, and it should be less than the fractal maximum. So here we got this candle 24 close is less than the maximum 15. Now we need two more if blocks and the last condition would be it should be less. And now we need to look at candle 26 and candle 25 closing levels. So 2 minutes back the price should have been above candle 24 closing level, and then as and when it starts to fall, our algorithm will start looking for the trading opportunities. So here let us take candle 26 close, candle 24 closing level, and then we take candle 26 close, and here candle 26 close should have been greater than the last hour's candle close, and then during last minute it should starts to fall. So here candle close is not less, actually it is greater, and then we bring in candle 25 which should be lower than candle 24. Again we take candle 24 closing level, and we compare it to the candle 25, that is with shift 1, and it should be less, which will mean that the price is starting to fall below last hour candle close, and that will be our entry point. So here we go, and now is the time to look for pending order, pending open order, if blocks, mathematical trading. So here candle 25 close should be less than the I think here we made a mistake. Thank God I realized it. It is candle close, not low. Okay, candle 24 closing level, and here we now look for sell trade, and that will be sell limit, as we will be placing order above the current price for the sell trade to happen, and price will be and here we get the price, which is A1 plus A2 last take price plus 10% of the ATR, and that is our sell execution price. Instrument is alright, default trade amount needs to be changed to 1.5 1 million, which is fairly good. Slippage will be 2 pips. Stop loss. Now we have dynamic stop loss and target. So here we need to take into account the calculation which we have done so far. For stop loss, our stop loss is going to be equal to, and the target price is going to equal to TP, and order lead time needs to so here comes order validated time. Okay, so our setup is almost done. Now we will do some testing to see if it is working properly or not. Oh, now here so here whenever 1 minute candle price will start to fall below the last hour candle close, that is its candle closing level, last 1 minute's closing level is less than the last 24 hours, last hours candle close, whereas the penultimate candle had closed higher. In such scenario, our conditions will be fulfilled. So we save the file and we will do some testing to see how things are looking like on the chart. So let us save this, save the draft, and we export it. We have a dedicated folder for the webinars and algorithms which we keep developing from time to time. And it will be saved as May 22nd, and now we input the same file here. 29 is missing. So what happened? Oops. Oh, let me see where we saved it. Here it is not, that means we again need to export the file. We we need to actually export it in Java, and I overlooked and kind of ended up exporting it in VFS. So here, okay, now we got it, and we import the same file here, and we will test it to some extent, maybe for a week or two if the time permits. We don't really have too much time, and we will be needing to wrap up the session fairly soon, but before that let us do this test for a minute or two. And here we got the file, okay, and first thing first, we need to do the compilation. Oh, okay, compilation is successful. Now let us test it on last week. Account is all good. We need to change the instrument. We need to add USD JPY, and rest of the things are all fine. We make it previous week. Okay. And we bring in the equity line to see if there is any change in equity, if we make money or if we lose money. That change will be reflected in the equity level. Let's make it early. Okay, so here is our test going on, and I think there will be some problem in the audio as well, so we don't really want to spend too much time here. We are doing testing quite fast, so for a whole week it shouldn't take too long, but as we can see, no trade is going to get executed. It has not executed in last 3 days, 4 days now, so I think we will need to do further intensive testing to see when our conditions would be really fulfilled. So let us stop the test now. and testing is done, but unfortunately no trade happened during the last week, so we will need to test a lot more for I think there is some issue with the code, and for which we'll need to make some changes here. So for today we wrap up the session, but since no trade has executed, we will see what changes need to be done, and we will do that in tomorrow's session accordingly. So for the day, I am signing off. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.